And as they head into the 24th season and all the expectations that they had, and they mostly delivered last year, what question marks do you address for this team, Peter, for the Detroit Lions?
It was the offseason of the Lions, right? I mean, you come off this playoff, 2 wins at home. You have this heartbreaking loss in the playoffs to the Niners, and then you have the draft, and then you re-sign everyone to $100 million contracts. So now it's like, can you live up to the expectations? That's the biggest question. It's one thing being the Hunters and the sad sack losers and the bad news Bears, and it's appropriate they're in their division. But now you're like one of the teams, and the NFL backed it up by giving you 6 primetime games, and the NFL has said that you're going to have all these spotlight players, and we're going to really highlight Amon-Ra St. Brown. We're going to put him on the Receiver Netflix show, and he's going to be a star. And Goff has a great redemption story, and Aiden, and then we've got all these other young guys that are coming up, and Gibbs and Campbell. Don't lay an egg. Like, don't be bad this year. They got very lucky at some points last year where they had some time management, some clock management stuff. They played against Dallas, and it didn't hurt them. It all worked out. They still won 2 playoff games, and they got to the NFC Championship game, which exceeded expectations. Don't go 9-8 and miss the playoffs this year, because guess what? The Roosters coming. You paid a bunch of guys this year. You're going to have to pay even more next offseason. There are more deals to be done. So my biggest question mark is, how do you follow it up? The only other place you can go is to the Super Bowl. Yeah. That's the only other way you can improve the season. Don't be a team that misses the playoffs, and don't let the Packers take that opportunity to swipe right by you in the division.
I think the story is so juicy and so convenient, it writes itself, that once they lost that identity of the tough guy loser, they couldn't handle success.
They went Hollywood.
Yeah, now that they're rich and they're in the penthouse and they're Hollywood and everybody loves them, now they lost that identity of let's turn our rings around and fight everybody. That's a great column for someone to write. There's a great piece on The Athletic in November that Dan Campbell lost these Lions, they couldn't handle success. And that is bullcrap. I hate that so much.
Well, how many bands and hip-hop artists, their first album out of the gates, they have nothing, and it's just they're in the studio for... And then after you get the big album and the big video and all the fame, it's a little less motivation to get in the work and get in the studio and try to put the best song possible, right?
I couldn't agree more. It happens all the time. The big hit first album, then they're chasing that thing the rest of the time. But it's just like, that band isn't built like this band.
Yeah.
That band doesn't have unbelievable young talent and chemistry. And it's just like, I thought we got over the Dan Campbell thing. Everyone just wants to say, oh, he's a meathead brute moron who just spews sound bites and he's going to fall on his face. No, he's not. But now that they've won, there's this anticipation they're going to get. No, it's an insult to him. It's an insult to all these players that everyone's just holding their breath waiting for the Lions to remember the Lions. They don't remember they're the old Lions because the old Lions are dead. I believe in this team. I'll tell you right now, I don't care. I have them in the playoffs, definitely. And if someone wants to write that piece for The Athletic about the Lions can handle success, it'll be a great piece. I just think it's going to stay in your drafts folder. I do.
Well, I agree with you because I'll tell you this. I'm all in on them as well because I really do believe that they're going to handle the success that they had last year really, really well. And the reason why I say that is because, when a team has that type of success and everybody's yelling Jared Goff and the whole city is excited, heck, the whole state was excited. But they went out and they addressed their weakness. And their weakness was the secondary. And I think, for them to be able to keep that expectation up, they had to go out there. This is the reason why they lost that game to the San Francisco 49ers. It's because of the secondary. So what do they go out there and do? They go out there and they compliment their rookie defensive back, Brian Branch, who, had a pretty good year. They go out and draft Terrion Arnold. They go in the first round. They go out and they draft Ennis Rakestraw in the second round. They make sure that they said, you know what? We are going to pay attention to our weakness. The one thing that happens to teams is they get intoxicated by their own success, by their greatness, or whatever it is that they're intoxicated on, and they can overlook it. And I love that Dan Campbell said, you know what? This is our weak spot. Let's go get it. Let's go attack it. And this dude is a dog. Terrion Arnold, you watch the film on him. The dude is a dog. And I can't wait to see what he does in the NFL. And if you get these rookie defensive backs doing well, now all of a sudden, we're going to be hearing a lot more Jared Goff and the Lions chant throughout all of football.
There is an emotional part of this, though. Like that's the X's and O's side, the game side. I just think about that season last year, and the team became like that little kid down the street who lives on your block, who you're just like really proud of when he like runs by. He's like, I passed my spelling bee test today, or like I made it to my basketball tournament championship game, and it's like I'm really proud of that kid. And all of a sudden, you do not wish disappointment upon him. You have investment in this person that lives down the street. I look at the emotional baggage that this year-to-year carries, and I want to play this clip because it's one that we all kind of fell in love with last year. Don't be distracted by Marshall Mathers off the top. I want you to focus on the character of this clip at hand.
But it's also about the fans who aren't the celebs, like Benjamin Kapp, Grosse Pointe, Michigan. Lions season ticket holder, 66 years, 89 years old. He was at the last championship in 1957. He's here tonight. Will the wait be worth it?
I mean, Mike Tirico, what are you doing to me? Will the wait be worth it for Benjamin Kapp? We all love Benjamin Kapp. He looks like the guy from Up. But how do the Lions carry this from year to year? He did.
Did you just throw shade at the dude?
No.
Hey, no Cap, he does.
Hey, he's got a house with balloons on it.
Those balloons are just going away.
It's a lot. It's a lot for a city. There was a feel-good part of this, but how do they carry it over year to year? That's all I'm saying.